Every week, Nice Gaming and I have a Voices of Verra podcast. And on that podcast, we discuss all things Ashes of Creation related as it pertains to the game, the live streams, and the discussion. The discussions on Reddit, the discussions on the forums, and the discussion on Discord. There is a community very, very excited about this game, and it is fun to talk to them about what is upcoming, different questions, different concerns. And yeah, although it is an Ashes of Creation podcast, we do discuss other MMOs. We bring other MMOs up for discussion to compare and contrast. And Nice brought up a very interesting discussion this last week, talking about the catch-up system that Guild Wars 2 has. Now, I have not played Guild Wars 2, so I want to be clear. So if I get anything wrong here, this is just how it was explained to me. As you play and progress through Guild Wars 2, you have the choice or option to kind of fast track yourself to endgame. And it was an interesting conversation to have because I feel like there's two aspects to it. And that is what's laid out in this conversation. So I wanted to preface this because I can see both points of view, and I tried to outline both points of view in this discussion, and hopefully, kind of spur some more conversation on what you guys think. Like I could see both points. So if you're very strongly against it, I get it. If you're very strongly for it, I get that too. And so hopefully this is as interesting to you guys as it was to me. Enjoy.
So this is just an interesting topic. We was talking about level boost. I think I actually brought it up. I forgot what made me bring it up, but I think we were talking about Guild Wars 2. Then I was talking about my experience with Guild Wars 2. So long story short, chat, I started playing Guild Wars 2. I think I got a character that's about level 20. And then what happened is I was like, oh, I like this game. I'm going to buy the DLC. I think I bought 2 DLCs, and each of them came with a level boost, which skipped my character to max level. You see where this is going. I was enjoying the game, and then I used my character boost, and then I instantly was like, oh, well, now this content doesn't, it's not as meaningful. Yes, in Guild Wars 2, the overland scales to your level, but it was like, I lost the progression. Like, I basically only effed myself over. And I think we were talking about why level boost exists. Is it pay to win? Are you, just cheating yourself out of an experience? Blah, blah, blah. And there was a lot of different takes from both sides. Mine was that I immediately regretted it. But I also feel like there's a certain dynamic to where there's times else I wish I had level boost or skips in ESO, and I would have paid money for it. Yeah. You know how you want to start an alternate character, but you got to go through the main story to get your soul magic line. You got to level up your stuff that you've done, all those quests and DLC quests, everything. Yeah. You got to level the same skill line, the scrying that you did on another character. It's just so tedious. And I think most people with ESO, after you've, literally grinded up 5 characters or so, you're like, can I just be at endgame? I'll still go get my sky shards, my skill points, but can I just have a max level character? Yeah. And I think that's where skill, if you've beat the game, if you've done a certain progression, I don't mind level boosting the game. I could see it. I could see an argument either way. I'm not strong either way, if that makes sense. Sure. But we were talking about that, and then Lash said something. Someone said something about their friend bought Guild Wars 2, and they bought I think the friend didn't want to hold them back, or no one wants to run with a lobby and blah, blah, blah. So the friend used the level boost is the short version of the story. And then so last respond, he said, there is an interesting dynamic to someone, because the person liked Guild Wars 2, there's an interesting dynamic to someone introducing someone to a game they love and then boosting / rushing them through the content. And I'm gonna pause right there really quick. And I thought that was great. So now I think New World's a rough example because no one enjoys leveling in the New World. They don't enjoy the story, so that's a rough example. So let's just say you liked ESO and their story. Sure. If I love ESO and I want to put you on dude, you got to play this game. Me and my friends play the PvP. But that's not until endgame. You're a long way from there. If you really swear by this product, if you really like this game, why would you take away from that first time experience that you got to have? Sure. This is more so for people that's pure, if you really enjoy the PvE in ESO, if you enjoy raiding, us PvPers, we usually just want to rush through things and get to the end game and just get on our PvP loop. But, for a general player, you don't want to lose that first time experience.
Okay.
But yeah, and then they go on to say you are basically guaranteeing that they will not share the same experience that you had playing the game, and thus will not like it as much as you. And I thought that was pretty cool, because it's like season boosts, character boosts are gonna like rob the person of an experience, and that's what I felt like happened to me. And so I just made another character to not use the character boost. So
sure,
I thought it was interesting dynamic. How would you feel about character boosts, I guess, after you've already hit end game, or someone like me that got Guild Wars 2 and I never did any of it, and I was able to just buy something to skip it?
Okay, I'm glad you picked this. This is a fun discussion, because yeah, there's a lot of nuance to this, because I started playing ESO like a week after it came out on console. And so I was part of the new player experience. I was leveling just like everybody else. There was lots of players. It was lively everywhere. It was such a fun experience. I don't think that experience that I had exists anymore. I don't think there's a big wave of new players playing at the exact same time. Maybe when they do like their free-to-play weekends and stuff, maybe, but it's just an older game. And so a lot more players are further advanced in the game and everything. And there was a point in time where like everybody was close, and so it was fun. I vividly remember last year starting Lilith like 2 to 3 weeks after you guys did, and that 2 to 3 weeks put me way behind. And so it was like I was almost on my own game loop. Like I remember you and Zilla and Sawman talking about how you're getting open world PvP and you're having all these fun fights and it's a great time and stuff. I'm like, man, I'm gonna level an account. And by the time I leveled my account, like everybody was past me, and I couldn't find anybody flagged anywhere. I couldn't find anything. It was just more of a dead game, and not a dead game. People were at endgame, and so I shouldn't say it that way. I apologize, but people were at endgame doing endgame stuff, and I'm like a level 20, like trying to what's this, a spear, cool, like trying to figure shit out. And so it is an interesting dynamic, because I see both cases, and I see the point for an older MMO like Guild Wars to give the choice to the player and basically say like, hey, there might not be people playing in your area or at the time you're playing, and you might not be able to do a lot of the content. Maybe it's more group based, and like you're not going to find players. And if you want to speed past that and get to the community of the end game, like here's an option. And I wonder if the first time thinking about this is like, Sawman hated the BDO startup point. Like, what would his opinion on BDO be different if they got rid of it? How many people, more or less people, would play New World if they had that aspect in New World? So it's
Steady Eddie.
Exactly.
Think about how he never even got to. I don't think he ever got to like 30 before he lost patience.
Yeah, I have 2 admins in my Discord that both played New World at launch, and they won't pick it up again because it was that bad. And and if they're like, dude, I already put 50 hours into an account, I'm not doing it again. Screw that. Yeah. And so it makes you wonder, like, if they had a speed up account to get to endgame so that they could actually try it, it's like, have you earned it at that point? I don't know. I could see that perspective. So
I think there's an argument to be made that if you're not interested in the entirety of the PvE of a game, if the PvE or the game is designed in a way like New World, as another example, if you're not interested in that at all, like we have a lot of members of our community that we've put onto MMO New World, and they like what they see. I have fun on stream. I'm having a great time. The combat's awesome. I got all this gear. I got all this, and it looks fun. They're like, oh, I want to try that.
Yep.
We got a couple people in my Discord right now. Try like Rage. He's just started. Eve, she just started.
Yep.
They don't get that for so long. They don't get to that experience for so long. And yes, there's the argument like everybody wants everything handed to them and blah blah blah. You used to have to work and grind for stuff, and that's fair. But when some players are not interested at all, and they're not they're on a game that doesn't have a good leveling experience like New World, doesn't have an engaging story, and they just feel like they're doing busy work, or maybe they got to go farm wolves in a certain area, it's not fun. They just want to get to what they've seen. They want to get to the core aspect of the game that sold them on it. They saw the cool PvP clips, and they want to do that. They want to play that. And ironically, just to put a little cherry on top, Guild Wars 2 is amazing in the sense that literally as you log in, you can PvP right then and there. You go to the arena and you will have your end game gear. You can actually pick it. You can do they have the whole skill line that your character will have in the future unlocked. So you can also use it as a theory crafting or see if you would actually like that character. And there's test dummies. There's actually NPCs that you can test against with this end game thing. It's just really cool. But yeah, I digress. But yeah, I thought that was another interesting thing. But I think we can all agree it's game dependent.
Yeah, I was just gonna say let's twist this a little bit, because all the games we just brought up are all theme park MMOs, and theme park MMOs. Yeah, you see where I'm going here. And theme park MMOs have, when they come out with new content, when they come out with the new roller coaster, when they come out with the new ride, people go to the new stuff, and the old stuff gets kind of abandoned. When you have more of a sandbox style game where things are a lot more fluid, I think the player experience is going to be vastly different in Ashes. Like I think from, obviously, guys, like, this is pre-alpha 2. We have not tested this game. This would be a fun thing to go back and look at like a couple of years and see if we're right or wrong. But I think new players will experience the world regardless, because there's just like there's not a linear progression system in Ashes in the same way. And so they're going to experience things from a crafting perspective, from a questing perspective, from an actual leveling perspective, all differently, all at their own pace. And so it's going to be interesting to see like how it works for that, because every game we brought up is like all the content's for endgame players. And so players want to get to the community, and if the community's at endgame, it's like, let's speed you up. Like the theme park is all over here. All the fun new rides are over here. Let's get you to the fun new stuff. So I get that perspective, but I don't know if that will necessarily apply to Ashes. And I think that's, I guess I wanted to ask you and the community, like what you guys think about it. So.
Nice. Yeah. Ashes, the way this game is, I would like to not see that. I don't want that. I just, the way your character affects nodes and progression, and I think new characters constantly being made is what's going to keep maybe old zones, use that loosely because of how nodes work, but it's going to keep old content and zones relevant. So I don't want to see it, but I think that kind of ties back, like, it depends on the game.